Yo, what it do, man? It's the King of the Bucks. Excuse me. But real quick, I just wanted to make a quick video, man. I've been hearing all this mess, man, and usually, like I said, I like to talk about my Bucks, and you know what I mean. I just want to talk to you about this whole Kaepernick situation, real quick, about him not standing for, I guess, the national anthem, and you know, push come to shove, I think at the end of the day, like, you know, I mean, to each his their own, man. I mean, we all have a constitutional right to do what we do. You know what I mean? Those who understand what our constitutional rights are, you know, or the amendments that we have to use as civilians in this country. We have every right to use those things because that's what our forefathers died for the right to be able to, you know, be able to have justice as people. And true justice is justice for all. And I truly believe that, you know, we need to have justice for all. And justice hasn't always been for all, you know what I mean? So my thing is, you know, excuse me, I'm sorry, I just got off of work. But true justice and what we need is to have, we need to have a better understanding of each other. The whole black being oppressed, I always say to myself, it's not what you allow someone to do to you. It's not what somebody can do to you, it's what you allow somebody to do to you. And so sometimes if you allow somebody to do something to you, is it more on that person because they did it to you, or is it that you allow that person to do it to you? You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? My thing is, you know what I mean, if we allow negative to overcome positive, whose fault is it? You know what I mean? When we can control the negative and the positive outcome. So to me, we have control over certain aspects of what goes on in this country or as a civilian. And so to me, I think sometimes, you know, we just really need to really kind of get past the racial tension, you know, the segregation, the lies, you know what I mean? There's so much fabricated upon this country that it doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? And I think at the end of the day, I mean, like he said, he wasn't doing it, you know what I mean, against the military. It wasn't about the military. He was doing it for the military, saying that, hey, I'm gonna sit down because you got guys that's dying out there, black soldiers, white soldiers, Latino soldiers, Mexican soldiers, that's dying out on the front lines for this country. And you know, they're dying not just for the country, but they're dying for justice. They want, you know, justice. They want justice for all. You know, they die for our amendments. They die for our Constitution. And a lot of those things is not being represented in positions where we should have those things represented. So, like, to me, I think sometimes you just got to really kind of get to the root of it all. Like, you know, you just gotta really kind of say to yourself, like, you know, like, you gotta say to yourself, like, you know, is it me or is it just that, am I just not understanding? So, to me, I think what he's doing is basically saying, hey, you know, we need to see true change. We need to see fairness. We need to see justice. I mean, yeah, you know, people say, well, you know, he's getting paid all this money and, you know, the white man's giving him a check. So, you know, if you're that mad at what, you know, another race is doing to another race, then why still represent that one person that's oppressing your people? And that's a valid point that people have. Like, you know, why are you representing somebody that's oppressing your people, but the same person that's oppressing your people, you getting, you know, millions of dollars from? So, you know, and it's hard because at the end of the day, it's like saying, and I understand when people say that, but then I say too, is that it's hard to say, all right, well, if you know you got a job and is owned by a certain race of a person that may not like your type of people or your race, but you still gotta go to that job because you still got bills to pay. So at the same time, nobody knows what goes on when Kaepernick's off the camera, but the man got bills to pay, so he's gonna do what he gotta do, regardless if it's $1 to $100 million. He's gonna get his money just as much as we would get our money, regardless if we didn't like the white man or not. So, I can't knock him because he got to put food on the table just like the next man, even if he doesn't really like what certain people represent. So, at the same time, I just think that there just needs to be a better understanding. I mean, yeah, Black Lives Matter. I always will say is that at the end of the day, like, it starts with, people. It starts with just like when Black lives stop killing Black lives, and that's when Black lives will really matter. Black lives don't matter if you keep killing yourself. Black lives don't matter if you don't know your Constitution. Black lives don't matter if you don't know your amendments. Black lives don't matter if you don't protect your neighborhoods. Black lives don't matter until you respect yourself. Until a black person can respect themselves, then there's no way that another white, Latino, Mexican is going to respect black people. Period. You know what I mean? Because I always say to myself, how can somebody respect me if I don't respect myself? And if I don't respect myself, then there's no way that I'm assumed to think that the public or the general public is going to respect me because I don't treat myself the right way. And if I allow anybody to come and just disrespect me, then that's on me because at the end of the day, I don't have respect for myself. And until we have respect for ourselves, we'll never be able to understand the true understandings of who we are as a culture. And I'm not just talking about black people, but I'm talking about any kind of race, gender, age, generation, doesn't matter what it is, sex, whatever. It's all about understanding self. And when you can understand self, man, it takes you a long way. So I'm always about being able to understand self and be able to say at the end of the day, I'm proud to be black. I'm proud to be what I am. I may not like how our history has treated us. You know what I mean? Like, I always get in this whole perception, and I'm trying to stay on the Kaepernick situation, but, like I said, but it's a deeper root to the whole concept than how I see it. You know what I mean? Like, to me, if there was something that I felt like I wanted to go against, I would probably go against Black History Month, because Black History Month should never be based off of slavery, depression, and regression. So to me, I wouldn't sit down for the national anthem, but what I would do is I would protest against Black History Month. That Black History Month should never be based off of slavery, regression, and depression. If slavery is based off of regression, depression, and slavery, then that's not true Black history, because true Black history is based off of being a king, queen, and a servant. And that's true Black history. It's never based off of chains and being a slave and working on cotton. That's somebody else's Black History Month. So I'm not going to represent it. My people know that. My girl know that. I will never represent. You will never hear me say I love Black History Month. Not until Black History Month is fabricated in the right way, that it's the truth, that it should be based off of kings and queens and servants that represent true blackness as a culture. You know what I mean? So as long as it's being predicated of slavery, depression, and regression, which is not true Black history, then I would never represent it. And that's how I feel. I would never go against the flag or the national anthem, but I would definitely go against that, because then if you really want to base true Black Lives Matter, it starts from the root. It starts from Black History Month. Understanding self, understanding your history, understanding who you are as a person. There's so many people that don't understand who they are, and they go ahead and end up being something like a Crip or a Blood because they don't know who they are. So now they start gangbanging, or girls don't know who she are because now she starts prostituting or she's a stripper. Whatever. You have to know self. So to me, a lot of this stuff, people look at it as black and white, but I look at it as, you got to know who you are within yourself. Until you know who you are within yourself, there's no race or no gender or no age or no whatever is going to respect you. You know what I mean? You have to respect yourself as a person and as a culture. Until we begin to do that, we will always have racism. We will always have murder. We will always have homicides and genocides. We will always have rape. We will always have some type of negative perspective in life until we understand self and the trueness of self and the positiveness that we have within ourselves. So at the end of the day, that's just how I feel. You know what I mean? I do represent Black Lives Matter, and I do represent all lives matter. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, yes, every life matter because every life is God's life. You know what I mean? So not to make it religious, but you know what I mean? The principle is that God created the universe, so all lives should matter. So, at the end of the day, we need to start respecting each other. We need to start loving each other. We need to understand how each other really works. And understand that we gotta stop living the lie of this whole fabricated lifestyle that we live. Because true reality, real reality is not what we see right now. That's not real reality. All we're doing is living in the fantasy of the world. So until then, we'll never be able to understand that. So I just pray that one day we'll make a change. It may not be in my lifetime or the next person's lifetime, but who knows? So at the end of the day, man, it's the king of the Bucks, man. It's the one and only, my Bucks, all day, every day. Just want to send out a little message about this whole situation. Till again, peace, love, and if you ain't down with the king of the Bucks, man, you already know what it is. So I ain't going to even get into it, man. Peace, love, and I'm out, yo. All right, peace.